Right. Now, welcome everybody. Welcome. I do think that it would be a little bit improper of me not to have a meeting today at this time. So, what I'm going to do, the sole purpose of this meeting is to go through my plans for the next 30 days. What will be happening since I'm going to mention later again, I decided upon doing that. But I really do think that it's important for me to draw boundaries. So I'm only going to say so much, or plan on only saying so much. I mean, whatever comes out to be natural will be the case. So today is March 20th. The sun has just changed signs. It's now in Aries. So I wonder if you felt a shift in a single moment. Just now, it just moved into Aries, as it does every single year. This year is super significant because tomorrow is the new moon, and on the 5th of next month we have a full moon in Libra, and then on the 20th of the month we have an eclipse. Fair warning, when you watch my video on that eclipse, there may be a little message that may pop up saying this video may be inappropriate. Press OK if you want to proceed. And it may go against copyright because you know what? I'm going to warn you. I'm just going to warn you. You may be hearing Adolf Hitler in that video, and I'm not kidding. I am not kidding. I mean, that may be the only video that I go out of my, certain lane of rationale. Because, I guarantee you, well, when I say guarantee, I mean, I don't know, but expect that I am not going to say anything positive. I mean, the new moon tomorrow is more positive, but the thing on, next month, about 31 days from today, next month, I'm going to get into some negative stuff and some serious stuff. And the astrology may not be the only thing I may talk about on that video. That video may be controversial. And I may speak about some things that are tough, deep, dark. I don't know how the video will be received, but it will not be like any other video that I've done. Another reason is it's just kind of boring when I do the same things over and over again. All I do is, okay, well, here's the astrology, here's what's going on. That's it. So that's another reason. Like, I want to spice it up a little bit. Like, I want to do just more than astrology. I want to have, okay, this topic going on, let's compare it to this. Let's just tie this in to the next one. I want to allude to other things. I want to vary it a little bit. I want to try to spice it up a little. So, when I say that I push the envelope, I know that I'm pushing the envelope, or I may be pushing the envelope, or I may, with my Mercury and Taurus perception, that I may be pushing the envelope when really the outside world does not perceive it as such. And for example, I put a comment on a video by the astrologer Amenten. That comment basically said, here's the deal, and this is the truth. We want to separate out self-improvement versus being a perfectionist. Two very different things. One's positive, one's negative. Get that straight. People call bad names about perfectionism because, yeah, it's a bad thing. Self-improvement? Oh no. That is where we can be humble, where we can grow as a person, where we can look to an archetype. Because he was talking about archetypes and talking about all that and reaching a certain place and having a sort of divine connection or something with that kind of thing. You can do that via self-improvement. Perfectionism? No. I really don't think that there's anything I'm not considering with this. And I will not have anyone try to take substance out of the fact that perfectionism and self-improvement are two different things. Perfectionism is like self-improvement. Guess what? It's not. Perfectionism is, oh, I'm not enough. Self-improvement does not deny that I am not enough. It is merely, I am enough. Yet at the same time, this is what I can consciously do to work on myself, to improve myself. But that nowhere in there are you not enough. It is both and. It's both and. But here's the deal. Perfectionism and self-improvement, I'm sorry, that's an either or. And there's a reason why things get thrown around. So, I can't vouch for everything. But I made that clear. I am absolutely not going to judge anyone for what he or she says or does because I don't believe in that. I do not believe in that. Everyone has a right to express themselves, be who they want to be, say what they want to say, and I am not here to judge or call them out or, that was wrong. Because I don't believe in doing that. I am going to express myself, my truth. I'm saying this because I invite you all to do the same. Think of all the people out there with OCD. Think of all the people out there with, who are perfectionists. And yet you're hearing perfectionism. It is a good thing when they're very aware that it is destructive, tearing them down. And I don't know. I mean, my honest truth is, I do think that he should have just, okay, guess what? No. Nope. Why self-improvement is a good thing. Period. Okay? It's just in terms of the frequency of the word, too. When you hear self-improvement, what do you think of? What is the frequency feel? Perfectionism, what do you think of? How does it feel? which feels more positive, higher frequency, which feels more negative. I mean, what's so obvious? I mean, show of hands, I want everyone to do this in here and everyone up there to do this, if they feel that self-improvement is more positive and higher vibration. Like it's just, there's a better feeling about it. Or how many of you would prefer self-improvement? How many of you would prefer self-improvement? How many of you like the word self-improvement better? Show of hands. I want to see so many hands raised. Not surprising at all. How many people think perfectionism is? Well, yeah. Perfectionism is the thief of your joy. Murders your creativity. Murders your joy. Murders your sense of peace and self-acceptance and self-love. The upside of Virgo is self-improvement. The downside of Virgo is perfectionism. And if somebody out there can't get that straight, that's not my deal. That's not my problem. They wanted to express themselves in that kind of way. That's fine. It's not my truth. It's not the truth. It's not... I mean, no, I don't believe it. But, yeah. You have to sort these things out. So going back to what I was talking about. When we're thinking about April 20th, and we're thinking about all this stuff happening. Well, first of all, I mean, here's the really positive thing. The only positive thing that I can think about on that particular day, the sun moves into Taurus. That should be acknowledged as significant. That should be acknowledged as special. We're going to hit that flavor next month. But while we're here, and Venus is in Taurus right now, which is huge because Venus rules over Taurus. So, yeah. And Venus will be in Gemini by that time next month. That's what's going on the 20th. This, I don't understand. Why is this so significant? I really don't get it. What we're going to be having going on is a straggler. It's a straggler. What is a straggler? Somebody who either lags behind or just does not fit in. Like, it does not follow the rules. We're going to be having, and I'm just saying this because of the fact, 2 eclipses this year. My hands are clean. 2 eclipses this year. One on April 20th, another on the 28th of October, and they don't fit in. There's no other way of putting this. I feel like when this comes out of my mouth, this is so colloquial. Or, yeah, colloquial. Whatever the term is. But the lunar nodes are still going to be in Taurus and Scorpio next month. And you have something happening in Aries. Seriously. I mean, yeah, I'm in Aries and yeah, but still. I mean, it doesn't follow the rules. Apparently there's going to be a lunar eclipse in Taurus on October 28th, even though that's a couple months from when the nodes change signs in the Aries and Libra. I don't get that at all. I don't get it at all. I mean, I don't understand. But that video is going to be abnormal. That's for sure and certain. Not in alignment with the other videos. All serious, all negative, and I'm going to get into some stuff about an awful dictator and an awful man who should not be acknowledged. And I think to have something like this, a solar eclipse happening, which does not follow everything else on the day of this evil person's birth, I can't tell you. I mean, it's like it's so significant and so it speaks volumes to me. I am going to be acknowledging the shadow sides of the eclipse. Probably that's it. Nothing positive in that video at all. Nothing whatsoever. All negative. All one-sided. Now that's not typically what I believe in, and I believe in both and, but then ultimately the positive. Not this video that I'll be filming. No. I want to do this, but I want to prove that I am acknowledging this, but that does not mean I will paint a picture of it that is good and positive. Because that's not what I believe in. I believe in a certain system. Eclipses happen in these signs because the nodes are in those signs. Not stragglers happening in signs that nodes are not in at the times that those eclipses occur. It's ridiculous to me. But a fact is a fact, and I'm not going to deny it. The new moon that we're going to be having is going to be a really powerful new beginning that we're going to be having. Now we're in Aries season. We're in the energy of new beginnings now. But the new moon in Aries, I acknowledge the positives. I get into that kind of material. But now it's time to take a look at the shadow side. So you get a little bit of both from me on my channel. So the new moon in Aries is so positive. But the thing on the 20th, it's all going to be negative. And I will be probing and finding, latching on to any negative piece of information that those astrologers talk about regarding what's going on in the 20s. It's nothing to get excited about. It's nothing to celebrate. It's nothing to get positive about because it doesn't follow the rule. I mean, I've been talking about this since October, November last year. They really want to make something positive out of this. I won't. And it may very well be copyright. Or I may just put those videos in the description box below. You'll see. But anyway, enough talk about that. Today is the 20th. It is the equinox. And today is a very special day. Tomorrow is a very important day. 2 days is a very important day. But you want to know what is even more significant? The 25th. What is happening on the 25th? Mars is changing signs. Finally. I mean, when you're talking about a particular season, a sun moving through a sign, and the planetary ruler, which sign is that planetary ruler, that planetary energy is in at the time, is going to be important depending upon which sign the sun is in. So, it's Aries season. Mars is now in Gemini. That's important. It changes signs on the 25th. Moves into Cancer. That's going to be really important. Looking at it from a negative astrologer's point of view, Mars is in a detrimental position. However, now we can talk about mama bears. Now we can talk about going after what is emotionally valuable to you. Who is emotionally valuable? And there's a strong need to protect them. That's going on. Obviously, we do have, moving further down the line, it is going to be around the 5th that we have the full moon in Libra. Now, on the 7th of the month, I'm basically throwing myself under the bus here. And you can figure out where I'm doing that. Hint, hint. But around the 7th, Mercury retrograde season begins. Steps into shadow. That's going on there. The 11th of the month, next month, Venus enters Gemini. I will do a video about that. That'll be big. I have Venus and Gemini in my chart. I will be acknowledging that. Way more significant than the thing going on the 20th. We already know that on the 20th, we also have the Sun meeting Jupiter. So we have Venus conjunct Jupiter on the 1st of March. We have the Sun meeting Jupiter around the 11th. This is a lucky energy, beautiful energy, benefic energy, because Jupiter brings blessings to the table. And it really has to do with going after what you want. Now, skipping forward to, well, I am going to just acknowledge.
I have to go to Fairway and get.
Okay.
I'll be back in 15 minutes or so.
Simple things for the lunar events in April. First off, the full moon in Libra is going to be occurring on my birthday. First thing I'm going to say in that video. And it deals with the balancing of the masculine and feminine energy. Your individual power versus compromising, sharing, balance, harmony, Libra themes. So that's the dance. I'm really going to get into that on that video. Now, the 20th. what'll be happening is just before Sun and Moon finally move on, they will be connecting last minute, which I think is just like, ugh. And what will be going on in the news? I am very partial. I want to be, obviously when you're talking about your own sign, you're, being partial. There's a lot of wonderful things about Aries, and every Aries I have known in my life, I don't remember encountering a single Aries that I have disliked. And I can say that with certainty now because, I'm going to say her name loud and clear. Jelaine Mort is a Sun in Sagittarius. I found that out. A lot is going on in her natal chart. A lot. A lot of aspects to Pluto. A lot of stuff going on with Pluto. Not surprising at all. Pluto, it rules over power. One word, very simple. It is destruction. She had the moon conjunct Pluto, Jupiter opposite Pluto, the moon opposite Jupiter, which is, be careful about your expression of emotions. Remember that Jupiter expands and blows things up. It's really positive. It can overinflate certain emotional expression. But at the same time, I was reading that it can be confusing for people to tell. Sometimes those people can be really enthusiastic. At other times, uncaring. Or at the worst, they would go on a rampage. Another aspect, I'm not making this up. She had Mercury trining Pluto. So Mercury is communication, Pluto is power. She had a lot of power when she communicated. And she meant what she said, and she was very firm. And I mean very, incredibly firm. And if you were there, you could, I'm sure that if you were there with me, your vibration would go from here and would go way down there. And plus, yes, Moon is conjunct Pluto. She had Venus in Scorpio too, so you can throw that into the mix. And I will say this because it is an astrological fact. Venus is at its, detrimental position, and that's just a fact. I don't believe in putting some placements above others. But I have a South Node in Scorpio, so I think I'm a little bit safer to, have sort of, subjective kind of biased, viewing of that. Maybe I will actually have Marie de Simone do a speech on astrology and bias sometime. Maybe she'll do that, like certain astrologers and their ways of teaching it, speaking about it. I think I'm going to have her do something on that, like a presentation or a speech on astrology and bias when it comes to certain placements and aspects and stuff like that. I think I really am. She's going to, acknowledge both sides of the coin. Okay, well, this is negative, but, here's the shadow sides, talking about Saturn, Mercury retrograde, and all this stuff that gets put down, and certain biases astrologers have in astrology and bias. So I think maybe she'll do something on that. But, she had, this teacher I had Venus in Scorpio. And it's not a light placement. And there's a need to control and be in power of a partner. I mean, there is no doubt in my mind, looking at the chart with Venus in Scorpio, the Sun trining Mars, Mars in Leo, you have your Sun square your Moon, Sun in Sagittarius, Moon in Virgo, and all those aspects to Pluto. There's no doubt. I mean, that chart of hers says this person is in control. I can bet that her and her husband, I think his name is Jay. I bet that she's the one in control of their life. I mean, she probably leads the relationship. Or maybe I don't want to assume stuff. But from the natal chart, you have somebody who is in control and wants to be in control. And cannot handle not being in control. Needs to be in control. Especially with Mars in Leo there. Yeah. It almost says to me, when I was in there, in with her, I only use that when I'm talking about people that I don't like, in with Mrs. Mort. It was her way or the highway. It needed to be her way or the highway at all times. At all times. Now, something huge, something profound is her last name. Her last name is the last syllable of Voldemort. That is, isn't that incredible? I just want to talk about that for a moment. I just want to talk about that for a moment. Her last name is the last syllable of Voldemort. Wow. That is incredible because Voldemort was, evil, powerful, and his mission was